everyone, so this is my review of Crisis on Earth X, parts 3 and 4, and this was a lot of like the sort of wrap-up part. Like the first two parts were the setup, then part 3 was like the main chunk in my opinion, and then part 4 was just sort of wrapping things up. And out of that, I really enjoyed part 3 probably the most, with it having a lot of it be revolving around them on Earth X. And just how everything was done there was so interesting to see. And I especially love the whole fight scene inside the warehouse of them trying to get back to the portal to get them back to Earth 1. And just all that setup, as well as the introduction of the Ray and bringing back Captain Cold and stuff like that. That was all just really interesting to see, and it was just so much fun. And I just really enjoyed it for that reason. And it was also interesting how they brought Wynn into the mix to finally get like the last of the Supergirl sort of main characters in there. With him being like this captain of the underground sort of fighting against the Nazis. And him being very opposed to the ideas of trying to get the rest of the team to get back to Earth 1 because of the fact that he realizes that all like the main sort of captain people are on Earth 1. So if he kills the portal and cuts them off, then they're essentially free on Earth X. But that's then leaving all of Earth 1 to be exposed to what's going on, and just everything around that, like I said, was so interesting and so entertaining to see. And I really loved the scene with Oliver posing as the sort of Fuhrer, and him doing all that role and stuff, and watching it slowly be revealed that he isn't actually the Fuhrer, and how all the captains and stuff figured that out. Was just interesting to see. Then everything in part 4 was really great, with like it mostly being like the ending sort of final battle scene where everyone finally gets back together and everything around that. That was so entertaining to see, that whole final battle and how it all turned out. I'm not that happy about the idea of the Reverse Flash getting away, because that means that he'll just come back yet again. And he is a character, like I've said before, that I'm really kind of tired of him reappearing. And like their whole explanation and stuff around why he keeps reappearing just gets more and more confusing. But I guess this gives now an option for when he does eventually come back again, that this is the reason why, is because Barry let him go. Then it was so fun to see like all the different sort of cuts to what everyone is doing in this final battle. And some of the CGI and stuff like that got a little weak and seemed a little off and weird and just didn't look right. But still, it was well done with what they did do, and that made it really fun in my opinion. I am very interested to see what they are going to do with the character of Jax going forward, with how this episode ended for him, and how or if he's ever going to come back, and in what way they will bring him back. I really hope that they do, because he is a very interesting character, especially to the legends and stuff like that. That he might not come back for a while, but I do definitely hope that he comes back. And the idea of Captain Cold sticking around and stuff is very interesting in my opinion, because I do really like him as a character, so I'm very interested to see how he's going to fit into the rest of the group and stuff like that, with him being raised on Earth X as a hero when everyone on Earth 1 sort of knows him as a villain. So that will be an interesting sort of dynamic to see with Captain Cold going forward. And then just overall, this was a really amazing crossover set of episodes, and they were so great and had so many fun and great moments to it, that it did definitely feel a bit overcrowded at some point, because of the fact that there is 23 characters or something around that they had to deal with. That it did feel overcrowded, or it did feel like some characters weren't getting enough time that I felt that they deserved and stuff like that. But they definitely did have an amazing crossover episode with what they did do and what they did show and all that, and I'm so happy for that reason. And I'm just so excited to see what they might do now with the next crossover episodes, and where are they going to take their stories and stuff like that going forward when they do eventually all cross over again. And just, yeah, that's my review of Crisis on Earth X for parts 3 and 4. So, yeah. Bye!